Hi, this is Doug Cowan, and welcome back to my office. This is part 2 of videos on applying reward systems. In the first video, I talked about general principles, things you want to use, aim at, said that hope is not a good strategy. Instead, we want to be very purposeful, figure out what we want to accomplish, apply the principles to it. So if you haven't seen that first video, then go ahead and watch that. And today I'm going to talk about how we applied this principle to a family. Just last week in my office, what we did using these principles. So for backstory, we have a family, mom and dad, a child who's 8 years old with behavior problems. He's the targeted patient. And then we have a 4-year-old child. So that's good enough that it's pretty approximate and you won't know who they are. So the 8-year-old child was brought in my office for behavior problems, oppositional behavior, defiant behavior, and picking on the little one pretty regularly. At school, the child is the one who's picked on and doesn't have any friends at school, is somewhat bullied at school. In baseball, the kid's a good player. Feels like he's one of the best on the team, good hand-eye coordination, can hit the ball pretty well, and is a leader kind of on his baseball team, little league team. Dad's very supportive, very, very supportive. Mom's very supportive. Good mom and dad. Way to go, mom and dad. So when the child is with mom, the child is happy, well-behaved, likes to interact with mom. And both mom and dad will be that kind of parent who will just sit down on the floor, play with the child. So they give the child attention whenever possible, one-on-one. But again, there's a 4-year-old. So that's not as possible as they might like it to be because the 4-year-old demands some attention as well. But when it's just one-on-one, mom and the child, kid's great. No behavior problems, no problems. Kid's great. As soon as the 4-year-old enters the room, not so much. Then the child starts to act out in a number of different ways. So those of you who are psychotherapists, psychodynamic psychotherapists, have at it. You're having a great time with this already, I can tell. But that's just the reality. We just want to fix. We don't want to know necessarily why it's happening. We just want to stop it from happening and shape it to be different. Because we know that he's capable of being cool. Because he does it with mom. He loves to go on shopping trips with mom. He likes to go to the store. He likes to go to the big city, which is about an hour away from where they live. He likes to spend this time with mom. So that's the leverage that we're going to start with as we use this reward system. In other words, we want to reward him for doing things right. We want to catch him doing something right. We want to reward him when he's being nice. We want to reward him when he's on task. We want to reward him when he's being nice to his sibling and so on. We want to reward that behavior. But what would be the outcome? What's the payoff that he would want enough to hang in there with a reward system? The answer is time with mom. So we have set up a system, as I showed you on the last video. From about 7 years old and up, you can use something like jars and coins. Before that, you really can't because it's a 2-step process when you think about it. You get the reward of the nickel, dime, quarter in the jar. It's the reward of the sound as well as the actual monetary value of the coin that you put in. But you have to be able to translate that to, okay, so I've got 4 of these coins and that equals $1 and $1 equals what reward? So it takes more processing, more cognitive work to figure that out than just say, here's a stuffed animal that you might do with a younger kid. So in this process, again, we want to figure out the target behavior, the outcome that we want, telos, what's the point? Where are we going with this? Hope is not a strategy. We want to figure this out. And then set up the reward system. So what we did was we asked mom to go ahead and purposefully spend about 15 minutes a day playing one-on-one with this child, the 8-year-old child. 4-year-old's got to go somewhere. Dad can take the 4-year-old, whatever. Mom, child, 15 minutes of playtime, just playing, not correcting the child, not saying, oh, I wish you would do this instead of that, just playing. Enter the child's world, play with the child. So now the reward is going to be built off of that. So when mom asks the child to do something like get started cleaning his room, make his bed, get started on his homework, finish his homework, whatever it's going to be, then the mom will come back in about 15 seconds later. And if the child's working on the process, working on whatever it was that he was just asked to do, then the child's going to hear this because a coin is going in the jar. And the coin can be nickel, dime, quarter, whatever works with the reward system that you have in place. So then you also would say something like, hey, I like the way you're getting started on this. I know you're going to do a great job. Let's get this finished. Come back in another minute. Same thing. Hey, I love the way you're working on this, doing a great job. Let's keep working on this till it's all done. Then come back in another 2 minutes. If the child is still working on it, you don't even have to say anything. Child hears that and knows, oh, I just got rewarded. And so again, like breadcrumbs, we're using these rewards, spreading them out a little bit as we go, but using these rewards a lot at first and then spread out in order to shape behavior. Breadcrumbs take you to a place. The rewards take you to a place, which is you're finished, or you did a good job, or you brushed your teeth, or you were nice to your little brother, little sister, whatever it might be. So then the reward system is moved to like, okay, 50 cents equals another 15 minutes of playtime with mom tonight or tomorrow night or some night that mom can do that. So you can buy an extra 15 minutes of playtime. $1 might get you a trip into town and I'd like to say ice cream, but the kid would probably spin up on ice cream. So, but something that the child would like in town that isn't bad for him, you know, like candy or whatever, but something that the child likes. $2 might be, hey, come with me to Bakersfield. I'm going to go shopping. Maybe we'll go to a movie. $5 might be something big like that. So the rewards keep getting bigger and bigger, but it costs more and more money. I got asked by the mom, well, what if he has like $5? He hasn't spent any of it yet. And what he really wants is to go into town and buy a toy or buy something, right? And so you have to have limits, define limits on, well, you can't buy this, you can't buy that. This child has a milk allergy. You can't buy milk products. You can't buy dairy products. You can't have ice cream. So it might be you can buy toys. You can buy baseball cards. You can buy something like that. You can spend it on those things. So she asked, would that be okay if you wanted to save up his money and go buy something in town? My answer was absolutely. Because you're going to buy it for him anyway. And there won't be any arguing about it. It's his money now. He's earned it by doing what you asked him to do. So that's fine. So anyway, this family's implemented the reward system now. And there's hopefully a lot of this going on. That a lot of catching the child doing something right, rewarding them for doing something right. Big jar, a lot of noise. Let the child count the money. Let him count it. Now, as I said in the first video, the temptation is when your child does something that they don't like, that you fine them, right? You take money out of the jar. And I'm going to ask you not to do that for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. That you really want your child enrolled in this system where he says, this is beneficial to me. Yes, I can be nice to my little brother, my little sister for 15 minutes and if as long as I get one of those, I can do it. Or I can get started on my homework and I can finish my homework as long as I get one of those. Down the road, once the child is enrolled in the program, the economy, then if you got to fine them, you fine them, but you let them know why you're doing that, because it'll be a setback, and you know it changes the function of the economy. It makes it more powerful, but it also changes it. You've got to keep your child enrolled in this economy. If he checks out and just goes, I don't care, I'm not going to play, you got to find a whole nother system. So you want him to get into this system because it's pretty easy. And then as he's doing it, then let's say that you're going to reward him for getting up in the morning, going to the bathroom, putting the toilet lid down, brushing his teeth. That gets a quarter. Let's say you're going to do that. I mean, you'll make these things up for your own self, your own family. Well, after a while, once he's done that, like 30 times in a row, drop it off the list. Put something else on the list that you want him to do. So you may have half a dozen things that you lay out that you do this, you get the reward. You do that, you get the reward. And if you catch them doing something right, they get the bonus reward. That's great, but you can keep rotating things through the list of what it is you're going to reward them for. So that's the simple system that will help you to shape your child's behavior like breadcrumbs, moving them into a place going from here to a better place for them and for the rest of the family. Now, you can take a system like this, you can modify it all you want, but the principles will work no matter how it is that you do it. So I wish you well. Hope it works for you. Again, I'm Dr. Doug Cowan. Thanks for coming to my office here. By the way, Susie and I have just started a podcast. It's called In the Living Room with Susie and Dr. Doug, and we discuss things for grown-ups, things like marriage topics, parenting topics. We want to help you build your family and your faith and your health. We're going to talk about health topics and so on. So Susie has a lot to offer, and so we've done it in this podcast format. So you can find it on iTunes podcasts and other kinds of podcast outlets. So thanks for listening to this video. Hope it's helpful, and we'll see you soon in the next video. Thanks.